Stop by to discuss how Stephen Curry and company used the outside noise to fuel this championship run. What a scene it was in Boston. We're going to break it all down.
No, tell me about the Nets and
SportsCenter.
Lakers. Let's talk about them.
This is SportsCenter.
We go one-on-one with first-time Finals MVP Steph Curry. His motivation to win a fourth title plus Stephen A. on whether Curry belongs on the NBA's Mount Rushmore. QB questions abound in the AFC North. The latest on Lamar's contracts plus the teams with the most approved headed into training camp. And it was bad golf for Phil Mickelson at the U.S. Open today. He will miss the cut. We'll hear from the six-time major winner in a live report from Brookline.
When you win some championships, it's all about winning. That's why we play the game.
Some Curry chaos!
Holy cannoli. We built this for 10, 11 years. I hear all the conversations, I hear all the chatter. This one hits different for sure.
Yeah, this one did hit different, no doubt. The Golden State Warriors are NBA champions. What again? But what a road it was to get there this time around. Let's go to Boston. It took 6 games. Here's how it went down at TD Garden. The Warriors went on a 21-0 run in the first half. They shot 5 of 7 from 3 to jump out to the big lead in this one. You got Draymond going early on. He breaks his streak of 12 straight missed threes. And Stephen Curry, remember 0 for 9 in the last game? Not this time. Jordan Poole, did he call glass? Either way, it went in. Off the Wiggins miss, Poole knocking down another one. And then Draymond Green, who was excellent last night. He came out big when it counted the most. The offensive rebound finding Poole, who hits his 3rd 3 of that run. They finished the first half with 10 threes. They were up 54-39 at the half to the third, and Curry would continue to hit big shots from downtown. No hesitation, another one that puts him up by 16 points. And then, why not? You know, you could feel it from the get-go. And Stephen Curry knew that these shots were going in. A minute later, right? I mean, you almost have to laugh. His 5th game with 5 threes. That's tied for the most such game in any series in NBA history, any playoff series. Stephen Curry, he was angry, petty Steph, after what happened in Game 5. They were up 10 going into the 4th. Celtics, single digits now, but the Warriors were not going to let them complete a crazy comeback. The dish by Green to Wiggins, and then Curry from the corner. Yep. Stephen Curry clinches it for the Warriors. Another deep shot. 103-90, 19-3. Stephen Curry 34-7-7, and he was overcome with emotion when talking to our Lisa Salters after.
Man, I'm so proud of our group. I thank God every day that I get to play this game at the highest level with some amazing people. I mean, we do know this is what it's all about, playing for a championship and what we've been through the last 3 years. The beginning of the season, nobody thought we'd be here, except everybody on this court right now, and it's amazing. It's very surreal, though, very surreal.
And wow, is it great to have NBA analyst Jalen Rose with us on SportsCenter. It's about time you joined us, Jalen, and good to have you here. The one thing that was missing from Stephen Curry's resume was that Finals MVP award, and not anymore. As he said now last night, now what? Now what are they going to say? Jalen, what do you think this does specifically to the legacy of Stephen Curry?
So, Sage, you're a seasoned veteran in doing this. And time again, when you hear athletes say they don't listen to their critics, that's exactly what they're doing. And Steph Curry is no different. And I want to also acknowledge for everybody, good guys do finish first, because that's what Steph Curry is. For public consumption, we get a chance to see him be a basketball player that's an MVP, a son, a husband, a father. His brother plays in the league. And he manages all of that as the leader of the Golden State Warriors, whether Harrison Barnes is playing with them, Kevin Durant is winning Finals MVPs, whether it's Andrew Wiggins as a supporting cast member, and yet his greatness has been so profound. If you're going to be one of the top 10 players of all time, you have to win a Finals MVP. He knows it, you know it, and I know it. And it was great to see him celebrate that and also understand the assignment. He made sure it wasn't going to be no gray area. Ain't going to be nobody voting for Andre Iguodala. Ain't going to be nobody voting for Wiggins. We're going to make sure we close the deal. And I just appreciate how professionally he always goes about his business and yet still finds a way to elevate himself and his teammates when it matters the most.
You know, I'm glad you brought up Iggy's name, Andre Iguodala, the MVP of the finals back in 2015, their first title. That's how much different, how tough it's been for Steph to get that medal. This core Warriors team, though, Jalen, has just been through so much, from the departure of Kevin Durant, the 2 years, the lost with Klay Thompson injured. How about 15 wins total just 2 years ago? And now this, the roller coaster. Talk about perspective. That's one thing Steve Kerr focused on last night after they won. Listen to this real quick.
I think this one may have been the most unlikely, just from the standpoint of where we've been the last couple of years. A lot of unknowns with injuries to Klay, Draymond at the end of the year, Steph at the end of the year.
Oh, man, I was feeling absolutely incredible. I was feeling just so high on life that I did not want to leave the stage, and I just know how hard this is, and to be here for a fourth time, I'm so grateful for my teammates.
It's just about getting back to these moments and winning, and we know what that feels like. We rely on each other for what we're great at, and it still has not been proven when we hold, and anybody can stop it.
Jalen Rose, 4 titles in 8 years. And in particular, after the last 2 years being so down, this is incredible. How do you put into perspective what this Warriors franchise has done?
I'm glad you said franchise, Sage, because actually I'm old enough to remember when they were trading Monte Ellis, their owner was standing at half court, and my OG Chris Mullin needed to console him and tell the fans to calm down because they were trading him so they could elevate Steph Curry. And Steph Curry, having injuries earlier in his career, allowed them to pay him less than he actually deserved based on his other counterparts around the league. For example, like a Damian Lillard, who's also an NBA All-NBA player. So it allowed them to build out their roster. And when KD left, they did a sign and trade with him. They got D'Angelo Russell. They parlayed him for Andrew Wiggins. So time and time again, when injuries happen, Steph early and then Klay, they built their roster from within. You have Poole become a 6th Man of the Year candidate and a really productive player. Gary Payton II becomes a rotation player. And imagine, their lottery picks, Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody, they didn't even really play this series. So they appreciated their position as 3-time champions, now 4, but they plotted their promotion with Bob Myers as a president, Steve Kerr as a head coach who has 9 championships as a player and a coach, and now nurtured a team that can now usher itself into a future while Draymond Green and the Splash Brothers are still on the roster. It was masterfully done, and it's something that the Western Conference is still going to have to deal with for years to come.
How about that ownership? Peter Guber, Joe Lacob at the top, giving Bob Myers the green light to do what he does, frankly, like nobody else has been able to do over the last decade, basically. Jalen, don't go anywhere. We got to talk about the Boston Celtics now. Matt?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, Sage, as we recap the Celtics season, January 6th, it's been a remarkable run for them. Boston 3 games under 500, 11th in the East. They turned it around. Since then, they went 33-10 and jumped all the way up to the 2 seed in the East. To get to the finals, they swept the Nets in the first round, beating the reigning champs in Game 7 of the conference semis, the Bucks, and then took down the 1-seeded Heat in 7 games. So they got through a tough grid. The Celtics' Achilles heel, though, taking care of the ball. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown combined for 174 turnovers, which is the second most by a duo in a postseason since they were first tracked in 1978. After the loss, Brown and Tatum reflect on what could have been.
My level of poise at times, throughout this series and previous series, myself included, we, taking care of the ball, things like that. But it's easy to, look back and see and say all the things you could have done better. We tried. I know that for a fact.
Still a young group, still got a lot to learn. Nothing to hang our head about. A tough day for Boston, tough day for the Celtics. But yeah, I don't know what to say.
Let us continue the conversation with Jalen Rose, this time with the Boston Celtics. Really, really good at the second half of the season. Jalen, they started 18-21. They make it to the finals. However, the Jason Tatum we saw early on in the postseason didn't show up in the finals. You can learn from everything. What do you hope Tatum learns from this experience?
It's not doom and gloom in Boston, and I'm glad you went there, Matt, because your superstars, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, are so very young. They're going to continue to grow and improve. In particular, Jason Tatum, and I'm going to give you two major areas of growth that I want to see happen that I believe he's going to work on. Number one, playing through contact and finishing at the hoop. In the regular season, he was in the lower 5 of people finishing 5 feet or in. And in these playoffs, whether it's in the half court or transition, so many times he didn't take the ball strong to finish at the hoop or strong to the backboard. Like the Golden State Warriors have great athletes like Wiggins, terrific defenders like a Draymond Green and somebody like Looney that can contest inside. But when you're Jason Tatum, you got to find a way to finish going towards the hoop through contact and in or around a contest. The other thing for both of their young stars is to play in traffic with your handle without turning the ball over. I talked about this against the Miami Heat. Time and time again, once they dribble the ball multiple times and they start to play in the crowd, Matt, they get slippery with that ball. People start whacking at it. People start stealing it. And a lot of times we'll talk about their turnovers. I believe they had 22 in the game. But they're giving up steals also. And what happens is now that broken floor situation sets up lanes for Wiggins to slash and get layups, for Draymond Green to push the pace and hit the Splash Brothers flaring out for threes or Jordan Poole. And so those are two areas. And I'll give you one more.
Yeah.
The Boston Celtics did time and time again tried to search out Steph Curry to take advantage of him defensively. But when you have a smaller man guarding you, you got to be decisive. Like they're trying to back him down. Newsflash, that's a 2-time MVP, now a finals MVP. You ain't going to get the call against him. You're not going to get the call. They were 3 for 12 shooting against Steph Curry. And you ready for this? 6 turnovers while Steph Curry was guarding someone. They did a poor job of taking advantage of the smaller defender, whether it was Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. You got to be quicker, stronger, and more decisive. These are all things as young players they'll continue to improve at. The Boston Celtics outplayed expectations this year. How about it was people foolishly saying that you should break up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown?
Yeah.
And all they did was become the best defensive team in the league since January and win the Eastern Conference.
They're young. We expect them to be back. It's cliche. You learn more from a loss than you do from a win. We learn from Jalen Rose every time he's with us on SportsCenter. Jalen, thank you.
Appreciate the love, my brother.